Hey everybody, what's up? I hope you are enjoying this lovely, beautiful Saturday. Just wanted to hop on here for a minute and talk about what's obviously on a lot of my friends' minds, since I still have a lot of friends who work and have devoted their lives to activism. And I just wanted to talk about Ruth Bader Ginsburg and what she meant to me as an individual, what she means to you and a lot of people. Feel free to pop in with your comments. Just want to share some real Harkenista love out there to my friends. I hope you're handling this okay. But I want to talk about exactly what would RBG do in this moment. I had never met the justice, so I want to say that right out front. But for a good portion of my career, I worked on justice issues and specifically the Supreme Court. And I did that through an organization called People for the American Way. I encourage you to donate money to People for the American Way to continue their work for a fair court system. But that's not what this post is about. That's not what this live is about. Let's just talk about where we go from here. And I'm going to talk about it in a non-political sense at first. So, what did Ruth Bader Ginsburg stand for? She stood for equality, fairness, justice, peaceful resolution of conflict through the law, using knowledge to create change and be catalyst for change, passing that knowledge on to other people, using her position of power and influence and the gavel to act as an engine of change, transformative change. She was an icon. She was not afraid of letting her light shine, and she loved her partner. She loved her deceased husband and her children. Love is the key there. She also, above all things, she loved the United States enough to, even when, and the Constitution, enough so that even when she was battling cancer, battling discrimination, denied a job in New York after being the top of her class at Columbia Law, having to go through having children in the middle of being a law clerk and being at Harvard. She put her husband's career first, but then the roles flipped and she became the breadwinner. She fought through cancer, not one time, but multiple times. She fought through cancer. She persevered. And she did it because she cared enough about the country and our future and the people of this world to push for real transformative change. And so, last night, like a lot of people, I watched with an amount of fear at first about, oh shit, what's going to happen with this country now with the stalwart Ruth Bader Ginsburg not in that place? What's going to happen without her there as a firewall to the powers of control and domination and money taking over the courts? Because in a in a situation like we're in right now, it could go either way. So fear was my initial response too. I want to be open about that. The fear was my initial response. But then I remembered something about who Ruth Bader Ginsburg was and what she represented not only as a justice, but as a person, and that is the perseverance aspect, the pursuit of long tail change. Long tail change. Not, a couple months here, a couple months there, but decades of change. Decades and a lifetime lived in the service of others, lived in the service of change, lived in the service of justice and what's right. And that's the lesson that I'm taking forward from Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I don't work in politics anymore. These days are over. But as a coach, as a thought leader, as a change maker, as a spiritual being, I have a lot of lessons there that I can learn from Ruth Bader Ginsburg and the life she lived and the way she went out. I mean, did you see the Supreme Court last night? Those people were spontaneously turning out to honor and celebrate the life of somebody who put herself before the people her entire life. She believed in justice so deeply, and fairness so deeply, and feminist ideals so deeply, and equality so deeply, that she, even when she was battling this cancer, she was planning on hanging it up in 2016. She held on because she understood that her position was evolving and her power was changing, and her ability to affect change was more critical than ever. So now we're left with the idea of how do we respond, not react. Respond versus react. What's the difference? Well, one of the lessons that I was watching a documentary on one of the news channels about her life, and one of the things that her clerks said she used to do is she would measure her words, she would wait and gather her exact words, that every word, every statement, every conversation was intentional. Now, intentional conversations come from a place of presence. When you slow yourself down, when I slow myself down to be present and speak the words that are impactful, measured, precisely fit the communication that I'm trying to deliver, that's what you call presence. That's slowing down, grounding yourself, thinking and feeling and listening to this voice instead of the monkey mind up here. And so instead of just saying whatever comes out of your mouth, whatever comes to your brain first, instead of saying that, stopping yourself and saying, wait, internally, and making a practice out of waiting, understanding exactly what you want to say, exactly how you want to say it, knowing the intention and the action that you want to take behind that, and then taking a step forward. That is what Ruth Bader Ginsburg used to do. So instead of freaking out like a bunch of scared rabbits, instead of freaking out like, a herd of wild animals, scattering or running for the hills or attacking even, there's the other response where your flight or fight response takes off, and maybe you want to fight. I would challenge everybody to get grounded first. And I'm talking specifically to my activist friends, pros or amateurs, doesn't matter. My activist friends, get grounded and get present in this moment as we celebrate the life of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And then methodically plot out the next steps to prepare for whatever eventuality comes from the situation. There are about 3 different scenarios that can happen moving forward, and we honestly can't predict the future, so we don't know what the universe has in store to throw at this situation. This could be a catalyst for a much larger change. This could be a catalyst for changing the Senate. This could be a catalyst for changing the White House. This could be a catalyst for changing the judiciary for good if people slow down and plot it out. Exactly what their actions are going to be and how they're going to play chess, not checkers. Playing chess, not checkers. Playing the long game, not the quick and easy hopscotch. Lastly, as we mourn for the loss of this icon, this feminist powerhouse, this unstoppable force, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, let's remember one thing. She's now transitioned to a higher position in her consciousness. Her journey has just begun, and her being lives on in another dimension from where we're at right now. She has won. She's won. She's there first. And she's there in this other place to inform us and guide us and inform our actions and inspire us in a different way, not in a head way, but in a soul way. And so getting grounded and taking the guidance and listening to what would the notorious RBG do in this case, in this scenario or set of scenarios we have between the Senate, the presidency, and the judiciary. Getting grounded and asking ourselves before we take any action, what would RBG do to not just win in the end, not just win short term, but looking a decade out, 2 decades out, and figuring out what will be best for the whole world, not just for the country, for the whole world. Because if things continue, and they will, they're going to continue on this path of massive shifts, massive change. We're in an astral shift right now. So if you think anything's going to be normal or go back to the way it was, say bye to that. There is going to be no normal. There is no normal. And win or lose, whatever side you come down on, whatever side ends up, it's a short-term thing. It's short-term suffering for long-term gain. It's short-term wins for long-term wins. It's short-term losses to make up a win in the end. I give 3 different scenarios there, right? So have faith, have patience, have presence. And remember the old moniker. It's on the back of this shirt. We all do better when we all do better. That's what she stood for. We all do better when we all do better. Lend a hand to other people. Be of service. And when you make it, pull somebody else up with you. That's it. So I honor and bless the life of Ruth Bader Ginsburg and all of the women who preceded her and all of the young beings who follow her, because it's broader than just one thing anymore. And I consciously send to you, by watching this video, I send this to you. My wish for presence, I wish for more equality, more change, positive change, more conscious energy, more presence, more real, thoughtful RGB energy to all of you. All's not lost. It's not a fight. It's a strategic long game. Long game. Keep that in mind. Game. This whole thing we live in, this matrix we live in, is a game. Let's keep things in perspective. Let's make sure that every word we say is measured. Let's make sure that every action we take is measured. And let's react. No reaction. Response. Thoughtful, measured response. The thoughtful, measured response beats an action and reaction every day, because there's no emotion involved in it. No emotion. Emotion will screw you up every time. I've done it. I made that mistake thousands of times of reacting with emotion. React with reason. React with logic. And react playing the long game. That's how change happens. Peace, love, namaste.